with that energy, still illmatic. Take this energy and understand how the plan is incredibly young man. Every prime time legacy, Pac and Juice to the rooftop deadly. Welcome to Sneaks, Rhymes, and Life with your host, the one, the only, Lionel K. McDonald Jr. Let's go!
The cultural relevance and actually, well, I don't know if it's cultural relevance, but so many different pieces that was touched on the Juneteenth pop-out concert by Kendrick Lamar that happened in LA. So, one of the unique concerts in an area where at times can be so divided in LA. And we found specifically it was held in Inglewood, California, the Kia Forum, and to a sold out crowd of 16,000 people, on top of it being streamed on Amazon. Now, I'm sure it's going to be available in the near future. It's not available right now if you haven't seen it, but quite an event that we had, and really it was the bringing together and in a pro-unity movement that we saw, very pro-Black, obviously, because it happened on Juneteenth. And again, Kendrick is one of the most strategic and, thought-provoking and thoughtful people in the hip-hop industry. And this really specifically happened on Juneteenth. Really, again, there's so many underlying things. And well, we all know that Kendrick is also very pro-Black. And many of the beef that he had with Drake was there were shots about Drake's Blackness. So let's not really get into the fact of the beef, but let's talk about the actual concert. So again, on Amazon reported that it was one of the best. It is the greatest streaming event that they've ever had, and that may be one day superseded by what they do with the National Football League in the future. But an incredible event that they did with Kendrick on this particular event. And it was like, well, let's start. What songs did Kendrick perform? Well, very unique that this unique song set list that Kendrick went through. He went from Euphoria, which is one of the original diss tracks, or the first full-length diss track that he went at Drake with, to DNA, to Element, to All Right, which is one of his biggest hits. Money Trees and Swimming Pool were definitely in there. Some of the collaborations that he's done with J-Rock and Schoolboy Q, goes back into Good Kid, Mad City. Can't forget King Kunta. And then obviously he does touch on Humble, and then follows back into to Like That. Now, we did have an appearance from many people. We'll stop there with the set list as we will kind of bring it to a conclusion to wrap it up. But it was like, okay, so that was the set list. That's an amazing list. We obviously knew that Not Like Us happened. It happened 5 times. Some people say it was 6. I don't know the official count. I've only seen clips of the concert, but it was quite an event that ended up transpiring. So who was there? Well, LeBron and his wife Savannah were there. Russell Westbrook was there. DeMar DeRozan, former Toronto Raptor. Guess he's not in the Drake camp. He's definitely from a Compton guy. Definitely was a uniting of the Bloods and the Crips and so many other rival gangs that were all there. People even said that, although and we'll talk about the outfit in a second. There's combinations of blue and red that are in Kendrick's outfit. That was simply the Bloods and the Crips. I don't know if some people are reading too much into it, or was it done on purpose? But this was really a unification. Let's continue. Obviously, he has an alliance with DJ Mustard, as DJ Mustard was the one that did Not Like Us. So he was in appearance. Many of the guys that are from Kendrick's camp. So Absol, J-Rock, who else do we got? Schoolboy Q. Those guys were all in attendance, made an appearance on stage at one point or another. I mentioned some of the athletes. We also had Roddy Ricch was in appearance. YG, which is someone that Drake shouted out, that was one of his boys. Don't know if that's even the case anymore. So There isn't even questionable whether SZA was even in the house. Tyler Creator was there. Northwest was even there, with, I'm sure, with more than one of the Kardashians. Laura London was there, and even Rick Ross, which now obviously we know that has beef. There's people that couldn't make. So, hey, some people feel a way about Dre being apparent, making an appearance. Again, there's obviously feelings, Michelle A, his Dre's ex, that Dre's been involved in domestic abuse, and this is something that Kendrick has also done. Again, these are all claimed but nothing proven. But at the same time, couldn't be a more iconic and cultural person to be a part of it. Now, I think some people definitely feel away, and I think that for rightfully so. For bringing people together, particularly on a Black holiday, and this is the person that was chosen. Definitely could makes it kind of rubs me the wrong way into a certain respect, but we're going to move on. And I think really what I wanted to help capture as we talk about this amazing hip hop movement is how the world of sneakers and hip hop kind of continually intertwine. So I know one of my favorite accounts to follow on Instagram is Bima. Bima talks about the social relevance and the cultural impact, and talks about the intertwining of hip hop and sneakers. And I don't want to take credit for this, but we can't ignore that the fit that Kendrick wore. I think he had some blue diesel jeans on. I think that's what people are claiming them as diesel. He was wearing a red hoodie with a huge chain, and the outfit is very reminiscent to one of the concerts that Tupac wore. He's also got white sneakers. Well, specifically the sneaker that he's wearing, he's wearing a pair of white Nike Shox. Now, Kendrick is not a stranger to wearing white Nike Shox, but what is very unique about what he's got on is this is a shock that, originally retroed like 25 years ago, and like 99. Like, there hasn't been this much energy or talk about a Nike Shock literally since Vince Carter was jumping over Frederick Weiss in the Olympics. And someone even made an Instagram or Twitter comment. It's like, there hasn't been this much energy around Shock since, or seen anyone destroy a man since Vince jumped over a guy in the Olympics. And there was so many funny comments that we saw regarding specifically the Nike Shox. So Bima continues to talk about, should there be a reunion between Nike and Kendrick? Now, for those that don't know, there was a partnership that is now expired. They've gone their separate ways. But Nike was, several years ago, working with Kendrick. There was a whole collaboration between Kendrick and Nike, specifically tied to the Nike Cortez. There were several reiterations that we put him in the OG one. There were a couple makeups that were done. So let's go back and now think about it. Bima kind of shares, what if Nike and Kendrick got back together? And, again, the Shock has been out 25 years. This year, I think it originally came out in 99 and then touching into 2000, right? But I think it early made noise in 99. So let's think about it. 25 years later, is this a collaboration that is such a slam dunk, or is this a tease that we don't even know about? Should Nike and Kendrick renew their partnership? Hey, there could be a collaboration of 5 Shocks that come out next year or later this year. Maybe it is a tease. So the Nike Shock R4, would people really be interested in buying the shoe? Some people still love it. Some people love it like they love the Air Max Plus. Others have no interest in it. We're in a rage or in a phase now that basketball, I wouldn't say is less relevant, but in the sneaker world, there's now room for both Nike and running to run side by side in many respects. We've seen the influence of many of Nike's retro models. We've seen obviously the energy many years now over Air Max month, but now we have Adidas and obviously New Balance and Saucony and Asics all claiming part of the running market on top of brands like On and Hoka. So is this one opportunity for Nike to go back into chamber and to pull out one of its classics and really bring some energy around the sneaker market for a moment, for a moment and reintroduce the Nike R4. This is the OG white, comet red, and then silver is what Kendrick had on. There's the black and red R4, amongst other ones that have come out. Do we need a retro? Does this lead to a retro of the VC Shock 25 years later? I think a lot of things start to think about what they could do over the next couple of years. But it's a great take by Bima. I think it would be a cool idea to see the Nike Shock in a very small way. It doesn't need to be a culture phenomenon. I don't think that's where the market will go, or where the market is looking. But I think that's really an interesting piece that we could see with the Nike Shock returning to the marketplace. People were, again, I think it was so fun and I'm going to just share some comments as we kind of wrap up here. People were just making comments, again, the energy still was against Drake, was still pro LA and pro the West. So it's like, hey, if I got a pair of Nike Shocks on, I'm feeling hateful. Or hey, if I got a pair of Nike Shocks on, this is the new black Air Force One. This is like the battle shoe. If I got a pair of Nike Shocks on, if I tried to go and search what the hell Kendrick had on, my phone may restart because you're going back 25 years. So some very clever posts that were all on Instagram or on Twitter. But I think, what did we learn from Kendrick's concert? Kendrick, taking part in this particular moment, along with the graduation, now that hopefully the battle, and we can